Hey there YouTube, I'm Yukitsu, this is the Yukitsu Times, welcome to my channel, welcome to more Rome 2 Total War, and I'm just basically derping around, trying out multiplayer battles and different sort of crap. I did a lot of battles using that sort of style that I was mentioning earlier. I'm trying to sort of look at a more conventional style right now, the old way that I used to play this game a little bit more. For some reason, for one thing that I did notice that was really strange is that if you go to the Bactrians, they're horse archers. The ones that used to be discounted because they were inferior are now more expensive than the mercenary Scythian horse archers. The only difference I can see about them is that they have less morale and less missile damage. So I don't know. I guess it's because they've got access to the whistling shot, but that's not really much of a consolation for me. As an aside, mercenary Scythian horse archers got a little bit cheaper. They don't have the whistling arrows, and that's fine, because whistling arrows kind of sucked. Yeah, so we're going to pick Bactria. I'm going to try around with their army and see how they function and see what's a good combination of units for them, but they suffer from a bit of a problem here in that they don't have any defining melee infantry. They've got fairly weak pikemen that are a little bit too expensive right now, and their cavalry is all either ridiculously expensive or elephants or melee cavalry, which I don't think improved as much. Now, Bactrian Noble Horse still going to be pretty good, so we're going to try taking them a little bit. But, yeah, we're going to take our two Indian Armored Elephants. The only difference in cost between these guys and these guys is 200. And for what you get, they're actually quite a bit better, especially look at the difference in melee attack. So, the Indian Armored War Elephants are definitely going to be worth it, I think, as an upgrade over the Indian War Elephants. Just a little bit. So we're going to try 4 of these guys. We're going to take 6 of these guys. And that's sort of going to be our style of army. Is we're going to try a skirmishy, even though we're against we're against Rome, which is going to suck, but whatever. We're going to try pikes, thorax pikemen. We've only got enough for 3 units of them. That's fine. We're going to... Damn it. Okay, we can't really upgrade anybody useful, so we're just going to upgrade a Scythian horse archer. Okay, there we go. And yeah, this army is going to be not fun for him to play against, I'm guessing, but you never know. He'll actually probably have that standard Roman-style army, which has quite a bit of shooting, so he'll actually probably be fine. In fact, I'm kind of... I don't feel as though the army that I'm taking is as effective as it would have been in the previous, because again, that gigantic jump in cost on those elephants and the cavalry means that my units no longer have the same sort of cost benefit that they used to. I now have to rely more on sort of those gimmicky units doing a lot more work than they used to have to, because I don't have a good solid frontliner anymore as Bactria. So let's see how it works. I mean, who knows? It could work out really well. Azat Knights and Bactrian Noble Horse, sorry, Azats are the Seleucid one. Bactrian Noble Horse look like they're quite strong now. I still don't think that they're enough to beat melee infantry, though, is the problem. So we'll have to see how that pans out. This is a really long load. Alright, well, it'll get there eventually. Now, the problem with pikes in this one, I don't think that pikes themselves are necessarily much weaker, but they cost more now, so they're less efficient for what they do. And the problem is that when armies get smaller like this, you can't form a big old pike line that's effective. You need a big pike line for pikes to be effective. They don't really do much when they're just 3 units large like this. But I think that's sort of what you have to do with them now, is have them in smaller units and hope for the best, kind of. Simply because they're not going to be able to do what they used to be able to do. Okay, so we're going to take our missile units and we're going to move them off to the side over here. We're going to group them up later, but for now let's take our infantry and let's take these guys and let's take these guys to soft group these guys. There we go. Okay, so we're ready to roll here, and I haven't tried this army yet in this build, but we'll see how it goes. I don't have any sort of theory on how this would operate, other than that, this is sort of the army that I used in the previous patch. The problem is that, my army shrunk quite a bit. I lost the shock cavalry to take the Bactrian Noble Horse because they're more cost efficient, I feel. except in a cavalry versus cavalry fight, in which case I have to sort of rely on the Indian armored elephants and my general. And like it just feels as though this army sort of got weaker. And the sort of counter army against it, the army where they just take a ton of swords backed by some shock cavalry, is going to be a lot stronger against it. And I don't really know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because like this army was really, really strong. The style of army that I was playing as Bactria, it was really, really good against a lot of people, and they just had a really hard time fighting it. But I don't know if it's one that they wanted to encourage or if it's one that they wanted to make worse or something. Clearly they wanted to make it worse, because that's what happened, but we're gonna go ahead and march up here a bit. Okay, so our opponent has gone in a weird thing here, and he's got some very peculiar choices of formation, which is fine. Now he's using Socii Equites Extraordinarii, which are a good cavalry unit. The thing is that we've got much better cavalry. The thing that he has as an advantage is that we've got better melee. We have the wrong kind of cavalry, so he's going to be able to potentially do quite a lot of damage to us because of that, or at least get more than his money's worth, honestly, in the exchange. So just going to move our units up here. These auxiliary cavalry, on the other hand, are only good against infantry. They're not really going to get much use in this army composition. I think he might have gone into testudo formation here, which I haven't really seen it in action all that much, so I'm not really sure how it works in terms of whether it's good or bad or what. So we'll see. Okay, so arrows have picked away a little bit at them, but it's still not very impressive, I don't think. Yeah, unimpressive is sort of how I would characterize that. He really needs to not be doing what he's doing here. He needs to really keep his troops all sort of corded together near his cavalry, because if he's like this, if he's sort of spread out like this, his units become really vulnerable to my units doing stupid skirmishy things and wiping out his cav. And if he lets me wipe out his cav, he's going to be in for a world of unhappiness. Okay, so he's staying in that testudo formation, and what this is going to let me do is it's going to let me split off my Bactrian noble horse and try and send one to go kill a couple of his things. My armored elephants have gotten into these Socii Equites who didn't even countercharge. Fantastic. Okay, so we're going to get in and start shooting these guys. These Socii Equites are gone, pretty much. Okay. Now our opponent has no spear units. He's just sort of going to have to rely entirely on other things to sort of fend off my cavalry, like massive... relying on the mass that his cohorts can provide, but they're kind of not in a good position for that at all. Okay, so we're doing okay here. Let's get our units all over here. There are elephants over here to go fight these guys. We're going to actually fight them with our Bactrian Noble Horse, just because that bonus lets us actually do it. Okay, so these guys have done what looks like a good idea, but is actually a terrible idea, because we're now going to go ahead and rear charge them with a couple of cavalry units. Spin these guys around, and that'll be fine. Okay, there we go. Oh, shit. I always do this. Okay, let's tempo these guys.
Our general is under attack.
Okay, and we're going to go ahead and charge more guys into this fray here. It's fracas. Let's go get his general with our elephants, because that's not overkill at all. I mean, that's perfectly reasonable. Praetorian Guard here, I think they're in Testudo. Looks like it's actually been really helping them stay alive, but we're getting shots in these guys from behind, and that's just going to suck for them a lot. Okay, so yeah, like I said, that legionary cohort, clever looking idea. Didn't actually work out in the end. You needed to check those other angles there. So yeah, this army worked okay. Our Roman opponent didn't. He could have done a lot better with the army tools that he had, but he has an army that I think is quite effective. He's got the Praetorian Guard for that little bit of morale boost. He's got legionary cohorts as his main sort of line. He's backed it with a mix of other units. I don't think they should have thrown his cavalry away like that, but it was an effective army. I feel that was just used improperly. I think he could have gotten a lot more out of it. But anyway, yeah, that's another look at a different style of army. I don't think that my army is going to really pan out as being effective in all that many situations, but we'll have to see how things go and how things swing. Anyway, I hope you found this enjoyable, and as always, I hope to see you all next time.